I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I found the character of Faye in God of War Ragnarok a little disappointing. And it's not because she's a badly written character. I think a lot of the conversations she has with Kratos are some of the richest ones in the series, that allow us to peer deeper into who Kratos is as a person, as well as his past relationship with his greatest love in his life. Sorry, Lysandra. But I don't know, there's still something about her presence in this game that came across as lackluster. And I think this is because in the first game we hear a lot about Faye and even quote-unquote meet her in the light of Alfheim. Back then, everything seemed to point in the direction that we would actually meet her in the sequel. This could have been achieved by Kratos traveling to another timeline where she didn't meet him, which is an idea I proposed in my first prediction video years back. So you would understand my disappointment when I finally got to play God of War Ragnarok and all I was given was a couple of flashback dream sequences. Her presence in this game just didn't feel tangible. Like, I'm still waiting to meet the real Faye, and I don't think I'm the only one who feels this way. But is it possible we were wrong about these scenes? Could it be that Kratos was 100% communicating with the real Faye and not just a memory of her as many seem to think? I don't know if you've noticed this about my channel recently, but my theories have changed slightly. I no longer care as much about predicting what events will happen in the next game. Instead, I like to make theories about the games we already have. They are theories that offer a brand new way of looking at certain scenes in a way that can enhance your experience of those scenes. And it is my humble opinion that in order for us to enjoy these cutscenes more, we have to believe Faye was actually there. And the funny thing is, I don't have to try very hard. Because I think this is what Santa Monica wanted us to believe, it was just presented in a very subtle way. So subtle that no one seemed to realize that Faye was communicating with Kratos using the light of Alfheim itself.
No. It feels like Faye is trying to tell me something.
You don't mean to say you're talking to ghosts again, brother?
No. But it is something more than memory.
As you just heard, moments after experiencing this first moment with Faye, Kratos implies that whatever he experienced wasn't a mere dream or memory. To him, it felt like Faye herself was trying to tell him something. Now, after this moment, the story of the game continues, and in a way, we forget about Faye. But the story does something interesting when Kratos goes to Alfheim a second time.
What's wrong?
I could hear Mother inside last time, but I can't anymore.
Here, Atreus is expressing his sadness at the fact that he no longer hears his mother inside the light of Alfheim, which is something he was able to do in God of War 2018.
It's singing. I hear.
But what's really interesting about this is that, moments after Atreus says this, Kratos is the one that hears Faye, like the roles have been reversed.
Difficult, to say the least.
I always found this moment odd because it felt like the story was trying to tell me something, and I know this moment has the purpose to show us how much Kratos misses his wife. But moments like these don't necessarily need to have only one purpose. With the Jotunheim mural, we know that Kratos was contending with themes of life and death, and getting his son ready for the worst. But we also saw it as Santa Monica hinting at where they saw things going, which prompted a buttload of theories in the community. And when it comes to this moment in God of War Ragnarok, I get the sense that Santa Monica is doing something similar. Because what I think Santa Monica did here was set up Faye as a future character in the series.
What are you doing?
I heard something.
But what could they possibly be teasing with Faye? Well, it is my humble opinion that Faye will become an Athena-like character for the Atreus games. Now, hold on. When I was hyping you guys about this theory on Twitter, a lot of people said that this had higher plane of existence energy. Don't worry, I will not mention the higher plane of existence a single time. Just stay here, please. I need the views, man. When I say Athena-like character, I refer to the fact that Athena isn't a companion like Atreus is. She shows up every once in a while and informs Kratos on what he needs to do, or even reveals something important from his past. But how is Santa Monica planning on doing this with Faye? The answer is simple. Faye will communicate with Atreus using the light of Alfheim. And here's where I have to prove that Faye was communicating with Kratos using the light of Alfheim during the events of God of War Ragnarok. So let's start with exhibit number 1. A reason for why I think these aren't just dreams is the fact that these dreams seem to speak about Kratos' current situation. This moment isn't really about a sick wolf who entered their home. It's about Kratos once again stalling to start their new journey. This is something only Faye knew about Kratos' personality, which is why in God of War 2018, she had Kratos chop down a tree that would break their protection stave, which in turn brought Baldur to their door. In this game, however, Faye is more forceful.
Time is running out, my love. and there is much to do.
Exhibit number 2 is a connection between two things that blew my mind once I saw it, and it specifically deals with one of the biggest complaints fans had with God of War Ragnarok: time dilation. In God of War 2018, there's a lot of conversations about how time doesn't move the same in all the realms. This led to many fans thinking that time travel would play a big role in the story of the sequel. But once we got the game, the only case of time dilation we saw was when Atreus returned home from Jotunheim and 3 days had passed for Kratos while only a couple of hours had passed for Atreus. Come to think about it, even the players experienced time dilation, because Jotunheim felt like an eternity for us. I'm sorry, I won't make any more Jotunheim jokes. Anyway, you would understand my disappointment when we only got this one insignificant case of time dilation. But I think I was wrong about this, because there's actually a ton of time dilation in the game. What I realized was that both the act of dreaming and going inside the light are identical. In both cases, the person experiencing these two events feel a form of time compression. When Kratos went inside the light of Alfheim for only a couple of minutes, Atreus experienced a day and a half. At least, I think it was a day and a half. I'm gonna have to watch my own video to remember. And something similar to this happened when Kratos first talked with Faye in God of War Ragnarok. While Mimir doesn't specify how long it's been, he does make it seem like Atreus has been gone for hours, while Kratos only experienced a couple of minutes.
Where's Atreus?
Hence my bellowing. He never came back from burying the wolf. It's been some time.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Just because these two experiences are the same, it doesn't necessarily mean that they come from the same source. And I agree with you 100%. But even in God of War Ragnarok, we start to see a special ability Atreus has that allows him to travel to the Udengard using the Dream Realm. And even more interesting to the topic of Faye, in lore and legends we learned that Atreus doesn't know why he keeps dreaming about the light of Alfheim. Clearly giants have the power to travel or communicate using the Dream Realm. And I think it's obvious what Santa Monica was going for with this journal entry. Faye from inside the light was trying to communicate with Atreus, but for some reason she couldn't gain access to his head. Maybe because he's too young and simply isn't ready for this level of communication. Or maybe it's because Atreus is a giant and is able to withstand outside forces from gaining control of his mind. So who does Faye turn to then? Someone whose mental defenses is full of holes. In fact, you can say that Kratos has an open border due to all the nightmares he experienced in his younger days. But Faye knows she can't show up to Kratos simply as herself. She knows Kratos would never trust such visions. And I mean, could you blame him? That's why Faye had to communicate with Kratos in a way that he would find more digestible. Memories from his past. Which, once again, was an integral experience of Kratos when he went inside the light of Alfheim. Faye in a way is like Matthew McConaughey's character in Interstellar, who was able to communicate with his daughter using his past memories. Faye is freaking brilliant, you guys. Now, I think Faye's job of guiding Kratos is, for the most part, over. Kratos is a completely different person that he was in God of War 2018. Faye now has to assist her son, who's still a baby setting out to fight gods from other pantheons. But here's the thing. I don't think Faye will communicate with Atreus using memories like she did with Kratos. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I think Faye will become more of an Athena-like character who will be able to communicate with Atreus more openly. Because while she wasn't able to communicate with Atreus prior to the events of God of War Ragnarok, this has changed. Atreus is older now, more wise, and of course, more powerful. Which is why, after Atreus gets knocked unconscious, aka goes dreaming, he experiences this.
Don't be afraid. No matter what happens, I'll be with you. But your path is your own. Follow it, and you'll end up right where you're supposed to be.
Huh?
In this scene, we see that Faye isn't communicating with Atreus the same way she did with Kratos. She doesn't feel the need to talk to him via his memories. Atreus doesn't have the same baggage Kratos has with seeing supposedly dead people. Which is why I think Faye will have a more open communication with his son, just like Athena did with Kratos. I don't know about you, but I love this theory. And it's not because I like to toot my own horn. I've made some terrible videos in the past. It's because this theory has made me love these moments even more. Before, they didn't feel tangible, because it was just a dream. But by believing Faye was actually communicating with Kratos, I get the sense of it being tangible. Like, I actually met the mastermind who orchestrated this whole adventure, while still holding on to the emotional value these cutscenes offered back when I thought they were just dreams. But what I think doesn't matter. What do you guys think? Was Faye actually communicating with Kratos, or was it just a dream on Kratos' part? Whatever your thoughts and theories are, make sure to leave them in the comments section below. Now, before I do my usual goodbye, I need to do something. In my last video, I was eating cereal and asked you guys to guess which cereal I was eating. I didn't think anyone would guess it, given how many cereals there are, but to my surprise, Brian Delgado got it right. It was Raisin Bran, which I now realize I have no way to prove because I ate the whole thing. But still, congratulations Brian, you win absolutely nothing. Now, as always, I want to thank all of my members for supporting the channel monthly. People like Tamas Corbai, Squid Crafter, what kind of name is that? Nikhil Shinoy, Manthan Shah, Grayman1214, and Brian Carley, to name a few, are the best supporters a YouTuber could ask for. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. I would also like to thank everyone who likes and shares my videos. I would love it if you guys subscribed as well, but if you don't, it's all good. Liking the video helps just as much. And with that said, thanks for watching, and remember, go forth in the name of Olympus.